going on the straight. Safety car is out. The safety car is out. Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. Oh my god. Hello everybody and welcome back to Formula 1 2017 as we get the second episode of the McLaren career mode underway, and we are going to be running around China this time. Unfortunately, no invitational event at the end of the episode, which I am really sad about because I really loved that first invitational event. But we'll just have to deal with it, and hopefully there'll be one after Bahrain. Now, in the first episode, I completely forgot to have a look at the R&D tree and decide what upgrades I was going to get. So that's what we're going to do at the beginning of this episode here. We're going to go have a look at the R&D tree and choose a few of the upgrades to do. So we're going to go across into the R&D screen in the laptop and view the R&D tree. Now, this is the R&D tree. You've probably seen a lot of screenshots of it. First thing that we're going to do is look at the efficiency of an upgrade, which will basically mean that it will cost 10% less, and we'll also make sure that it's a little bit more I can't remember what exactly that was, but it basically means that it doesn't break, hopefully won't break as much. Then we also go have a little look at the general wear, because I was having some tyre wear issues in the first race. So we go and upgrade that as well in the durability section. Over here we have the this is the downforce or aerodynamics area. So next upgrade is the central downforce thing. I can't quite remember. Central under tray. There you go. So I'm just upgrading a few of the quality control and the making it a little bit cheaper, just for when we come to upgrade the central under tray. It just means I'll have something to do there. So in that powertrain, the reason I immediately upgraded the engine is because you can see everywhere else McLaren Honda is quite far up the list. It's either in the middle of the list or the top of the list. But in the powertrain, it's at the bottom of the list by a huge amount, of course, because the Honda is absolutely terrible. So hopefully we won't have any of those issues come and hit us in China. But as you can see there, our car is still second worst. Hopefully we'll catch up to the other teams next season, but I doubt we'll be able to do it this season. Might get some points here and there, might get some lucky breaks, but who knows exactly what's going to happen. As you can see there, our overall wear already on our engine is 25%, which is not exactly what you want. Then you've only done one race, but we should see how well it fares in China, which has a very long straight, and with such a poor power unit, I expect us to be right at the rear of the field most of the race, purely because we won't have any power along that kilometre-long straight that will prove vital for overtaking. Bear in mind, slipstream isn't as strong in this game as it has been in previous iterations. It just means that it's going to be a lot harder to move up the positions. Without further ado, then, we're going to go into practice, qualifying, and the race here at China.
Good morning, and I hope you're as excited as we are for today's practice session here at the Shanghai International Circuit. This 5.45 kilometre track provides both low-speed cornering and a long high-speed straight, a combination that will challenge even the most experienced driver. Welcome then to all our viewers, and of course to Anthony Davidson as well. Now Ant, I wanted to ask you, obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in these sessions, a lot of simulations as well. Is this something the drivers enjoy, or is it just a routine that becomes a chore?
There's nothing routine about driving a Formula 1 car, I can tell you that. 300 kilometers per hour down the straights, 4G through the corners. It's hard to ignore those forces acting on your body. It's lap after lap of hard, exhausting work. You always enjoy driving these cars, it's a real privilege. Although I must say, if you're having a day where you can't get the car to do what you want and it's generally underperforming, then it's a lot harder to stay motivated. But never a chore, no. Even if you're having a tough start to the weekend, at this point you know that if you work hard at it, there's still an opportunity to turn things around.
So here we are then in the practice session. This is the track acclimatization. Now, I tried my absolute hardest throughout the entire practice. In practice 1 and practice 2, my setup was completely wrong. I kept losing the wheel, as you can see. I can get the green target score and get what they expect me to get, really. But I could not reach that purple target score to save my life. And this is when I was running a really good lap. I was on target to get the purple, and then I screw up, the rear end kicks out, and I tap the barrier, lose a bit of my end plate, get going again. I do continue on and finish the lap, but again, it just wasn't enough to get that purple score. Onto the tyre management program, and do you know what, actually? I was expecting this one, after the track acclimatization test, to be the hardest. And you can see I actually run off there through turn number 1. I actually do get the purple score overall, but this is for qualifying then after practice.
Your qualifying goals came up in the board meeting this morning. Here's what to expect.
We'd like to welcome you from wherever in the world you join us today for this F1 qualifying session here in Shanghai, China. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximizing top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on into the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
Into our qualifying lap then. The reason I didn't show the entire of practice is because it was just really the same test as we did in the first round, and I was just having a whole load of trouble handling the car. So what I've done is increase the downforce, which means that we'll have a lot less stability issues through these corners, but we'll lose a lot of time on the straights. And I knew we were going to win the Honda anyway, but it just means we'll lose a little bit more. Coming out of the first sector then, it was a rather strong first corner. Now I have already put in a decent lap. It's put us in 7th at the moment, but that'll obviously knock us outside the top 15 once the session comes to a close. We're going to try and improve to get right onto the apex. We're hanging in and braking a little bit earlier than I did last lap, and it means that we're able to get a much tighter line up through the middle pass of the course. Now heading up towards the sharp left-hand onto the sweeping right where we lost it in practice. Now that left-hand had just gone. I was losing so many times during the practice sessions, and I actually spun it on my next time lap, which is why I was only able to deal with this one. This is my overall time lap in the end in Q number 1. Coming onto the long straight, then you'll see that we are losing so much speed compared to what other cars will be running here. If you run in a Mercedes along the straight, you'll see they reach over 200 kilometers an hour. We're below it, unfortunately. Miles an hour, sorry, I believe that is. Coming through the sharp right-hander then, we put it right to the limit. We're going to try and improve. Alonso's currently gone faster than us, but will we be able to improve? We push it slightly wide to the final corner and come across the line. We go faster than Alonso, but this is the best bit. I drew with Alonso. Alonso and ourselves got the exact same time, which means that we are able to go through to Q2. Alonso knocked out in Q1. We go both got a 1:37.698, and just look at Esteban Ocon's time as well, a 1:37.699. There were 3 of us within 1/1000th of a second. It's absolutely crazy. When I saw that myself and Alonso were the exact same position, I thought, okay, yeah, I think I've chosen the right difficulty level, because I have actually increased my difficulty to 90%, I believe I've done now, which is the master difficulty. I was on 85, which was within the expert difficulty before, but now I'm in the master difficulty, and it seems like it's a really good difficulty level. As we go across into Q number 2, this is the end of the lap. It wasn't as good as the Q1 lap, and it wasn't as interesting. We crossed the line, and after Q number 2, we're going to qualify in P14, which is where we will be knocked out. But we still qualify in front of someone in the Q2, which is not what we weren't able to do in the first round. Here are our race session objectives.
Hello. I just wanted to pass on the team's expectations for this race. Good luck.
So they expect us to finish in 15th or higher, so we can lose 1 position, and they expect us to be 17th in the championship.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, tests their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, it's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Kimi Räikkönen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Ricciardo, Stroll, Massa, Grosjean, and Nico Hülkenberg, Magnussen, Sainz, Sergio Perez, and a McLaren, Kvyat, Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and Jolyon Palmer, Wehrlein, and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid. And now, it's time to head down to the track.
That 2-minute intro will never, ever, ever get boring. I mean, no. Anyway, we're about to get going. I had to do a still image at the beginning of the intro purely because, obviously, in the first episode you saw that I blacked out because of the FOM issues. And I just didn't want to risk it for this episode where the FOM have been able to allow that sort of stuff to go through again or not. So we're on to the formation lap here at China. We're going to be starting from 14th, which was much higher than I was expecting at China with the low downforce. So I was expecting the real good 17th or 18th. One position higher than what we qualified at Australia though, so I'm really happy with that. Coming up to the end of the formation lap and getting ready for the start of the race. Let's hope we can do well. We're only 4 positions off the points, and it seems like we are rather fast in this McLaren through the first sectors. That's where we were gaining the time on everyone else, and we were losing it in the third sector. The lights are coming up though. We're going to reach the optimal RPM, and we're going to get going. A slight delay on our start there. We're going to drop off on Perez a little bit, but catch straight up to the Toro Rosso of Carlos Sainz. And now we've got to look on our rear because Esteban Ocon looking to get through. Where we go, we dive to the inside, turn number 1. We're on the inside here, coming through into turn number 2. We can remain on the inside. Now on the outside, we leave the room on the inside just in case someone was there. No one was, and we move up the positions out of turn number 3. We're into P number 11, so up 3 positions on the opening few corners. It's exactly what we want. We got the inside of Hülkenberg as well. And now it's going to be for a top 10. We've just got it. No oversteer there. That's brilliant. Perfect line. Going to hold it on the outside of Hülkenberg. Will we be able to make the move? He does because Hülkenberg drops it off in the Renault. We're up to P number 10 into a top 10. Fantastic. Later on in the lap, though, you've got Hülkenberg all over our rear. You can see in the background. We move to the the left-hand side of the circuit. Hülkenberg moves to the right. We're trying to defend him, hold him off. We squeeze him to the right-hand side, but he's already through. And now we're going to have to try and hold the outside line, do the hairpin, a little bit of a lock-up. We've been able to hold the position. What we're going to be able to do on the exit, we're not able to do it at the moment. Running back on board, we're going to drop behind. We're back down to P number 11. So off of lap number 1, we've gained 3 positions. Still fantastic. We're just outside the top 10, but already that Renault of Nico Hülkenberg pulling away from us along the short straight. Onto the very long straight now, and Sergio Perez is going to just fly by like nobody's business in the Force India, but we're going to go backward around the outside. We've got a very wide line, but we're able to hold it. A little bit of oversteer on the apex, having to avoid the rear, left wheel of that Force India into the final corner. We're now down to P number 12 behind the beautiful pink cloudy lemonade sort of Force India there. And we're down to P number 12, but we still moved up 2 positions from our starting position, and P12 is not bad in the McLaren around here. And I've just seen on the right hand side we've got engine issues. Already our engine, of course, it's a McLaren, but we are definitely going to have engine issues by the end of this race because look at that. The wear is absolutely horrible. If we don't have engine issues here, if we don't replace the parts, we're going to have serious engine failures in Bahrain. Now then, someone who is having engine issues is Lance Stroll, and as you can see, he's in 9th, holding up Hülkenberg and Perez, which has allowed us to go for the overtake on the inside of Perez. We're going to hold the much tighter line. Are we going to be ahead out of the corner? Yes, we are. We're just ahead of Sergio Perez, up to speed number 11 now, and that top 10 shot is at our sort of advantage here. We're able to get past. If Hulkenberg can't get past Stroll, we go for the inside, we get the apex. We're caught on the apex! Caught on the apex the entire time through, and here comes Sergio Perez to go back through. So we were actually caught on the apex that entire corner, which meant that we couldn't take advantage of the slow Lance Stroll, and we are losing back behind Perez in P number 12 as we come up to the hairpin. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Stroll's issues. Easily caught up. A big lock up on the front right though. That's going to wear our tyres down a little bit, but we're now back up into this battle once more as we come through the final corner. Nico Hulkenberg decides enough is enough. I'm not getting held up by Stroll anymore. And he dives into the pits. Will we be able to make a move though past Perez or Stroll? We're a bit too far back into the first corners, but we might be able to catch up, and that's exactly what we do through turn number 1. And we've got up the inside of Perez and up the inside of Stroll, 2 positions from so far back. But no, we're not going to be able to do it on the Williams, or are we? Around the outside, are we going to be head out of the corner? It's going to be interesting. Yes, we are. We're up to P number 7, I believe, at the moment in this race. P number 6, in fact, because of everyone who's spinning. It's a net P9, though. Into the pit lane we come. And a little bit of oversteer onto the entrance to the pits. We slow it down, put the limiter on. I'm not great with the pit entrances. I never have been and I never will be. Coming up to do our pit stop though. We're already down to P number 10, but a few people still won't be pitting, of course, so it won't be our exact position. We're going to get going, but the red light's still on, and that's a really poor exit purely because I actually let go of the clutch too early. The red light was still on, as some other people were still coming into pit lane. Now, out of the pits, we are currently in P14, but where will we move up to at the end of the lap after everyone else will come to do their pit stops? Halfway through the race now, 7 laps down, out of the 14th race. Drivers in the pits, including our teammate Alonso. We're going to move up into what position past everyone? Into P number 10. We've actually got a points finish on our hands now. Will we be able to hold on to it? That's going to be the question. As we continue around, Sergio Perez is going to try and take it off from us into turn number 1. The Force India is through. And we're going to go back for the inside, do a switch back to get through. Try to make the move. Perez moves to the outside. He's going to have the inside to the next corner. We're going to try our hardest to hold around the outside. Can't quite do it. We're down to P number 11. Our McLaren engine just not good enough to battle with the Mercedes. It was within the Force India chassis as we're coming out of section number 1 now. As we continue around, our race engineer was giving us full race update there, but it was really pointless for you anyway. It's not really interesting. As we continue around, we will be able to catch up to Sergio Perez. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to. In fact, on lap 10, you can see we dropped off so much here. This is not good. Sainz is quite far back as well. The safety car is out. The safety car is out. Sebastian Vettel is out of the race. Oh my god, the safety car is out because Sebastian Vettel has had engine issues and is out of the race. Oh my word. On lap number 12 though, the safety car is going to come in. We've only just caught to the safety car. That's how leading far ahead the safety car was. So we've not been able to save our tyres one bit, but we're going to get restarted with 2 laps to go. But with Vettel out of the race, we're into a top 10. This is one little glitch I've had though. Look how close I am to Perez. I can't get any closer to Perez yet. I'm still a ghost. And Sainz decides that he wants to drive right into me, which is, again, another little bit of a glitch from the game. But obviously it's still not out just yet, and there'll be patches. But green flag is out as we get going for the final 2 laps of the race. Following that safety car period, slightly right in the final corner, it's not what you want. We're going to lose it down. I don't care if Perez gets away. We've got a top 10. It's all about holding off from that Toro Rosso directly behind us. He's not able to make a move into turn number 1, so he stays behind for now. Continuing through turn number 2. We've actually closed back up to Perez and might be able to make a move up to P number 9. Look how close we've got, but a little bit of oversteer there. You can see our wheel correcting quite a lot, and another tank slapper from the exit of turn number 3 there. So now heading out of sector number 1. We've got Carlos Sainz right behind us. It's all going to be about holding on to this position for 2 laps. It's going to be really difficult come the very long kilometre straight. That is going to probably mean that Sainz is going to be able to swoop past us a lot like Perez did earlier on in the race as we continue through sector number 2 here. As we continue around on lap number 13 or 14, just 1.5 laps to go. We're still very, very close to Sergio Perez in that Force India. As we're coming up to the straight now, it looks like we will get DRS. No DRS available because of that safety car period. There won't be DRS available for the remainder of the race, but we got Carlos Sainz behind us, going to try and get our slipstream. But with the slipstream that we can get from Perez, we might have an opportunity to stay ahead of the Toro Rosso. Now, the slipstream, like I was saying earlier, not as strong as it was in Formula 1 2016 or any of the previous versions of the game, so it's not going to help us too much. The Toro Rosso going to go for the inside, has to go back to the outside as we move across. We're going to be able to hold the inside line through the hairpin at the moment. Now up towards the final corner, we're able to hold it. A lot of people putting in fast stats. That was Hamilton and then Raikkonen putting in faster stats. Next lap though, Lewis Hamilton wins the race. Nothing, no attacks by Sainz. He just wasn't able to make any move on that final lap. And we're going to get a points finish in the McLaren Honda after engines that was about to kill our race. A safety car period with a retirement from Vettel put us into the top 10, and we were able to hold on to it. Amazing stuff there for the McLaren Honda as we get our first point finish of the season at only round number 2. Absolutely fantastic.
A great win then for the Mercedes team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes then are on top today. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Kimi Raikkonen, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Well, Jolyon Palmer did a great job coming through the field today, so my vote goes to him.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
I really hate the fact that Jolyon Palmer got the driver of the day because he went really up the order. Screw that! I was the driver of the day. I was able to get the McLaren into the points. I mean, Fernando Alonso did a really good job of getting 14th after starting in 16th. That was a really good job. We were able to get points in the McLaren. We got the first point from McLaren this season, and yet not driver of the day. Well, screw you. I'm just going to say that right now. Screw you. Anyway, this is our resource points at the end of that. As we go up a number, 120 resource points, total 527. In our rivalry then, we are beating Fernando Alonso as we have a very nice session there in the race. And then on our team approval, we also go up in that as well, and very close to the purple now. Toro Rosso and Sauber were also interested in us very slightly as well. This is the career score then as we finish the episode. Just going to have a little look there. No flashback triggers. I still love the fact that I'm able to get that because I never used to be able to run a race without flashbacks. But now, I think I'm pretty damn good. Right then, that's going to be the end of the episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. It's been quite a fun one to do that race. That was a really tense for me actually to finally get into that top 10 after Vettel's retirement and try to hold it in that final 2 laps. But it was a lot of fun, and Bahrain is going to be interesting if we do have those engine issues that were looming us in the race today. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.